up for grabs here at Bambalapitiya. St. Peter's College host the holders of the Reverend Father Basil Veeratunga Shield. It's all alive here from the St. Peter's College grounds in Bambalapitiya in the Dialog Schools Rugby League 2026 Week 2 clash as St. Peter's take on St. Joseph's in an arch rivals battle between the two saints. And joining me in the combox is Nathan Coggins. A very good evening to you, Nathan.
So very good evening, Reshwan. Very good evening to all our viewers. And yes, a lot riding on this game. Not only is this a league match with 6 important points up for grabs for both sides, it also doubles up as a trophy encounter. And like you said, St. Joseph's College, the current holders, winning after a lapse of 7 years when they beat St. Peter's College 36 points to 19 at Longdon Place last year. It's a sunny day out here in Colombo, a bit hotter than usual, but hopefully cools down as we get into things. 33 degrees at the moment and a steady breeze as usual across the St. Peter's College grounds in Bambalapitiya.
Indeed, tailor-made conditions for a good, fast-running rugby. The last time they played this encounter here at the Bambalapitiya, it absolutely pelted down in Colombo. But this time around, the weather gods have been kind to us, and the weather has held up beautifully as both teams have got their warm-ups underway ahead of a big clash. And it's all being playing for the Silverware. The Reverend Father Basil Veeratunga trophy up for grabs as St. Peter's will look to try and regain it here at home.
Yes, as we take a look at how last week went, Wesley College obliterating Prince of Wales 69 points to 12 to raise the curtain for the 2026 season, and St. Peter's College with a convincing win 67-0 against Manama College. St. Joseph's College broke their first game curse, isn't it, Reshwan? 41 points to 19 against a very good Anand College outfit. Sri Sumangala College showing just how much promise they have. 28 points to 26 over DSN College. And then probably the biggest upset of the week, Thurston College beating St. Thomas's College 27 points to 24 at the Air Force grounds in Ratmalana to blow that group wide open. And Trinity College 55-12, a comfortable win against a newly promoted side, Zaira College. Another closely fought game, 20 points to 15 over Kingswood up in Kandy. And then on last Sunday, Isipatana College and Royal College with comfortable 43-14 and 43 points to 10 victories respectively.
Indeed, what a week 1 clear fixtures we had last week around. As we take a look at the week 2 fixtures which are lined up as we kick things off here in Bambalapitiya. St. Peter's take on St. Joseph's, and it's Mahanama taking on Wesley up at Air Force grounds, and St. Anthony's taking Trinity College at Pallekale, and then Isipatana will take on DSN Anayaka tomorrow up at Royal Complex. Lumbini taking on Sri Sumangala at Police Park. Prince of Wales will host Anand College in their first home game in the top division. And Science College plays Zaira College at Ratmalana. Thurston College hosts Royal College at the stadium. And we have a Monday evening clash to wrap up the week 2 of the Dialog Schools Rugby League 2026, where Kingswood host St. Thomas's College in the Hill Capital.
Yes, another action-packed weekend and a jam-packed weekend of rugby here in Sri Lanka. 5 games tomorrow, and the second leg of the New Zealand Under-85s versus the Sri Lanka Tuskers game as well up in Nittawala.
Indeed, plenty of rugby action on Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel, ThePapare. And surely that second leg clash between the Sri Lanka Tuskers and the New Zealand Under-85 kg team will be a closely watched encounter to all our viewers. After a very close game up in Colombo last week around, the host will try and upset a much favoured New Zealand outfit tomorrow at Nittawala. Both these two teams are coming off wins in the first week of the Dialog Schools Rugby League. So they'll take plenty of momentum come this game. And it's just not a league clash, Nathan. It's the big game. The Saints rivalry well and truly alive here. Silverware up for grabs.
previous form and previous results all go out the window, isn't it, for a big game like this? Both these teams will be looking to give it their all and give their 100% as we'll throw into a small commercial break with more info and the live action on the other side.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Vantage for the modern professional.
එතකොට මහත්තයාරුනේ ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව් ග්‍රවුට් වෝටර්ප්‍රූෆින් ස්කිම් කොට් නේ
ලොකු ඩිස්කවුන්ට් එකක් නැද්ද මුදලාලි අතන කඩේ 140ක් දෙන්නම් කිව්වා.
බෑග් වල බොරු ගණන් ගහලා පස්සේ ලොකු ඩිස්කවුන්ට් දෙන දේවල් මාගාව නෑ මහත්තයා.
ඔබේ නිවසේ පරිපූර්ණ නිමාවකට දවටනේ නියම මිල සඳහන් ස්විස්ටෙක් නිෂ්පාදන මිලදී ගන්න. ස්විස්ටෙක් ගන්න ඕනේ හොඳම තීරණය.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Introducing new Air Action Mentos, the peak of freshness. Yes, too fresh.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
අවුව නිසා බොඩි එක කූල් නැත්තම් මයින්ඩ් එකත් කූල් නැහැ. ඒකට තමයි ඩෙටෝල් අයිසි කූල්.
Introducing Elephant House Wonder Bar Gold. Crack your wonder.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Rugby.
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun tamai.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Love Rugby.
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun tamai.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Experience what it means to have true peace of mind with NDB credit cards. NDB credit cards, the advantage in your wallet.
අවුව නිසා බොඩි එක කූල් නැත්තම් මයින්ඩ් එකත් කූල් නැහැ. ඒකට තමයි ඩෙටෝල් අයිසි කූල්. අවුවත් එක්ක ඇති වෙන දාඩිය නිසා හැදෙන විෂ බීජ වලින් ආරක්ෂා කර ඔබේ ඇඟ 3 ගුණයකින් කූල් කරයි.
ලීසින් එක ගත්ත වේගෙන්ම හවුසින් ලෝන් එක ගන්න ළඟම LB ෆයිනෑන්ස් එකට එන්න.
සීන විමන් මවනා ඔබටයි.
සැරටම එන්ජොයි කරන්න පාටි එකට ගෝ.
Night Go Pocket Perfume Youth එකට ගෝ එකක්.
Perfectly Swiss Tech Aluminium. නඩත්තු වියදම් නැති ජාත්‍යන්තර සහතික සමග වසර 30ක් දක්වා වගකීමක් ඇති Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
Introducing the 2025 TVS Apache RTR 204V.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Experience what it means to have true peace of mind with NDB credit cards. NDB credit cards, the advantage in your wallet.
Perfectly! Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
ගෙවන් යන්න ෆෝන්ස් ගන්න ළඟම ආබාන්ස් එකට යන්න ලොකු පොඩි හැම ෆෝන්ස් ගන්න ළඟම ආබාන්ස් එකට යන්න හොඳම ෆෝන් එකක් ගන්න ළඟම ආබාන්ස් එකට යන්න
ලීසින් එක ගත්ත වේගෙන්ම හවසින් ලෝන් එක ගන්න ළඟම LB ෆයිනෑන්ස් එකට
සීන විමන් මවනා ඔබටයි
Perfectly! Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Love Rugby.
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun Tamari.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Pain can pause your active life. Get the all-new Woo Pain Relief Spray for fast, long-lasting pain relief.
Introducing Elephant House Wonder Bar Gold. Crack your wonder.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
අවුව නිසා බොඩි එක කූල් නැත්තම් මයින්ඩ් එකත් කූල් නැහැ. ඒකට තමයි ඩෙටෝල් අයිසි කූල්.
NDB Leasing. බාපු ගමන් නැවෙන් ලීසින් එක අපෙන්. ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික්, හයිබ්‍රිඩ්, පෙට්‍රල්, ඩීසල් ඕනම වාහනයකට නොම්බරේකේ ලීසින්. NDB Leasing. NDB බැංකුව.
බෑග් වල බොරු ගණන් ගහලා පස්සේ ලොකු ඩිස්කවුන්ට් දෙන දේවල් මා ගාව නෑ මහත්.
ඔබේ නිවසේ පරිපූර්ණ නිමාවකට දවටනේ නියම මිල සඳහන් Swiss Tech නිෂ්පාදන මිලදී ගන්න. Swiss Tech ගන්න ඕනේ හොඳම තීරණය.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Every modern professional needs Vantage. For those who demand the best. Vantage for the modern professional.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
හඳුන්වාදන කීස් ක්‍රෙස්ට් අල්ටිමේට් ක්‍රිස්පි චිකන් එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් එක. ක්‍රන්චි කටගැස්මකට ක්‍රිස්පි චිකන් තයි. ස්පයිසි වයිබ් එකට ස්පයිසි ක්‍රිස්පි චිකන් ස්ට්‍රිප්. ෂෙයා කරන් කන්න ක්‍රිස්පි චිකන් පොප්කෝර්න්. රස ඩබල් කරන බාර්බිකියු සෝස් සමග කීස් ක්‍රෙස්ට් අල්ටිමේට් ක්‍රිස්පි චිකන් එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් එක.
NDB Leasing. බාපු ගමන් නැවෙන් ලීසින් එක අපෙන්. ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික්, හයිබ්‍රිඩ්, පෙට්‍රල්, ඩීසල් ඕනම වාහනයකට නොම්බරේකේ ලීසින්. NDB Leasing. NDB බැංකුව.
Introducing new Air Action Mentos, the peak of freshness. Mentos, yes to fresh.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Vantage for the modern professional.
Nava Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
කිචන් එක අබාස් කරන්නේ දැන් වයිෆුත් හැපි එකේ ඉන්නේ.
වයිෆ් හැපි කරන්න කිචන් එක අබාන්ස් කරන්න.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Good evening and welcome back to the live pictures here from Bambalapitiya. Both teams all in readiness ahead of this important clash. It's just not a league clash here, Nathan. Silverware up for grabs.
Yes.
So we take a look at the points table from the previous Dialog Schools Rugby League 2025.
Yes, in the cup segment, Trinity College topping it with 24 points. St. Peter's College finishing with 5th place with 14. And St. Joseph's College missing out narrowly on that plate segment in that absolute thriller against DSA Nayak College to close out last season, just 3 points short. And St. Anthony's College comfortably winning the bowl segment with 24 points. Unfortunately, Vidyartha and Dharmaraja College having to go down into segment B. And we welcome Prince of Wales and Lumbini College after a lapse of 25 years into segment A of the Dialog Schools Rugby League.
The top division rugby for Prince of Wales College, Moratuwa and Lumbini College, Colombo. Both teams will look to make their mark, but just couldn't get underway in that week number 1. But that's normally the case, Nathan, whenever a team does promote, things do take some time. These are the group breakdown for the Dialog Schools Rugby League 2026. In Group 1A, the defending champions of the league, Trinity College, Isipatana College, DSA Nanayaka College, Shisumangala College, St. Anthony's College and Lumbini College wrap up that Group 1A. And I think that group has been wide open as Shisumangala College registered a famous win over DSA Nanayaka College in that week 1. And in Group 2A, it's Wesley College, St. Peter's College and St. Joseph's College together. In Group 2A, Ananda College, Mahanama College and Prince of Wales College. And that group will surely do some justice and will be quite a group as the season does progress. And in Group 3A, Royal College, St. Thomas College, Kingswood College, Zara College, Thurston College and Science College. That group as well, Nathan, as you did mention, is wide open with that famous win and an early upset in the season, we could say, as Thurston went on to beat St. Thomas College in a famous win for Thurston.
Yes, and apart from Royal College, I think the rest of the teams in that group all quite evenly matched, isn't it, Reshwan? Any of them can beat the other teams on their day. And with that being said, we'll head into another short commercial break with the live pictures on the other side.
Introducing Elephant House Wonder Bar Gold. Crack your wonder.
Now Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Let's KFC! Making moments special. Most value for money from KFC.
දවසම fresh වෙන්න. O3 Spirit and Freedom perfumed body spray.
Every modern professional needs Vantage. For those who demand the best. Vantage for the modern professional.
Now Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි. Now Rexona Sports Defense 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Pain can pause your active life. Get the all-new Woo Pain Relief Spray for fast, long-lasting pain relief.
Experience what it means to have true peace of mind with NDB credit cards. NDB credit cards, the advantage in your wallet.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
අව්ව නිසා බොඩි එක කෝල් නැත්තම් මයින්ඩ් එකත් කෝල් නැහැ. ඒකට තමයි ඩෙටෝල් අයිසිකෝල්. අව්වත් එක්ක ඇති වෙන දාඩිය නිසා හැදෙන විෂ බීජ වලින් ආරක්ෂා කර ඔබේ ඇඟ 3 ගුණයකින් කූල් කරයි.
Perfectly Swiss Tech Aluminium. නඩත්තු වියදම් නැති ජාත්‍යන්තර සහතික සමග වසර 30ක් දක්වා වගකීමක් ඇති Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
NDB Leasing බාපු ගමන් නැවෙන් ලීසින් එක අපෙන් ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික් හයිබ්‍රිඩ් පෙට්‍රල් ඩීසල් ඕනම වාහනයකට නොම්මරේකේ ලීසින් NDB Leasing NDB බැංකුව.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Introducing new Air Action Mentos, the peak of freshness. Yes, too fresh.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Both teams are ready to come out as St. Peter's College, the host, make their way to the playing field. Led by Shenuka Pereira in the number 8 jersey. St. Peter's College will look to take back that silverware which they lost last year. There's plenty to play for both teams.
Yes, St. Joseph's College though riding a wave of momentum, isn't it? Fresh one. Just a week ago, clinch in the 52nd limited overs battle of the Saints, and then over the week beat Royal College to become All Ireland cricket champions. So good week for St. Joseph's College sports, and they'll be hoping that their first 15 can replicate some of the feats of the cricket team today.
Indeed, that will be a motivation for the Josephian rugby team. St. Joseph's will love to keep both silverware for yet another year at Darley Road. But the next 70 minutes of rugby will tell us if that will happen as we take a look at the visitors starting 15. Sathara Gunathilaka, Joel Ranasinghe and Dion Peters will form the front row for the visitors with Sitanga Lianage and Hensit Mendis in that second row. And in the back row with their skipper jotting it at number 8, young Rian Javardar as a flanker together with Cristiano Anthony. And Nathaniel Jayasundar will be the halfback for St. Joseph's with Brian Fernando's last game man of the match performance will give him a whole heap of confidence coming into this big game. In the center combination, it's Shanil Kakure together with Dion Fernando, and with the back line, Sharin Dizoiza, Clive Hingert and Hirosh Manahara form the 15 for St. Joseph's College in this big clash. The replacements will be Dalwat Disanayaka Silva, Sudarshan, Fasin, Rashmind, Kandappa and as well.
It's quite a heavy forward pack, isn't it, for St. Joseph's College? As we take a look at the home team, Asha Zakram, Sheval Abegunawad and Talish Soisa slots into tight head prop today, usually a second rower. Revon Pereira back in his tried and tested second row role alongside Tarul Hansen, and an unchanged back row of Lakidu Ranasinghe, Shenuka Pereira and Hashar Madugasige. Shiraz Pereira and Jamal Wahab continue in the halves with Rashwin Saab and Netchan Mantushe in the centres, and a back three of Senuddin Sar, Rajit Jion and Sandiga Neunhel, who's coming in place of Ashok Krishan. Replacements Van Hoff, Damket, Zimal, Abegunawardana, Kamil, Silva, Nadunajit and Ashok Krishan.
Massive clash here at Bambalapitiya. College anthems are done and dusted. As we are now moments away from kickoff. St. Peter's College prefects making their presence felt here at home. As they will look to get one better this weekend around against St. Joseph's College. Both teams will be introduced to the dignitaries present here. St. Joseph's led by Inosh Silva. St. Peter's College rector present here. Reverend Father Rohita Rodrigo. Just behind him is the prefect of games, Reverend Father Samesh Anthony of St. Joseph's College. Big game here at Bambalapitiya. Shenuka Pereira introducing his charges to the dignitaries here. A crucial clash in this Group 2A. Both teams coming into this Week 2 clash with convincing wins in the Week 1. St. Joseph's had to work hard away from home against Ananda College last week. But St. Peter's went on to get the better of Mahanama College quite convincingly last week around. A clean sheet for the Bamba Brigade, and they look to continue the good work this evening as well.
It's not going to be as easy as last week, is it, Reshwan? St. Joseph's much better opposition, and like we said on air as well, in these trophy games, form and all those past results just go out of the window. It's about who does their best and grinds their teeth on the day that will take the silverware home.
Indeed, Nathan, bragging rights up for grabs here. Both teams are playing for the Reverend Father Basil Veeratunga Trophy. St. Joseph's College, the holders on your screens. We'll hope that they can do well to take back the silverware to Dali Road this evening. But these lads on your screens will do all their best to try and regain that trophy they lost last year. So plenty to play for here as we are now moments away from kickoff.
Yes, certainly, and St. Peter's will be certainly hurting from that defeat last year, 36 points to 19. And just blown away in that first half. They'll want to put on a much better show in this time against their traditional rivals. Held the silverware for 7 years before St. Joseph's win last year. Is historically St. Peter's College with 45 wins in this series, and St. Joseph's College with 10 and the 6 drawn games.
66th encounter between these two sides. Surely numbers speak quite highly for St. Peter's College. But it's all now in the present. They'll have to put all the history behind. As the 66th game ready to kick off here at Bambalapitiya.
It's the man in the middle, Ishanka Bekon. Experienced referee and one of the top referees in the circuit at the moment will be calling this one, as Rajit Jion is set to kick the Pete rights off from right to left of your screen in this first half. Straight away a deep kickoff into the Joes 22 collected by Sitanga.
Back.
Pete rights will want to make their presence felt early, and what a big hit that was. Turnover straight away, forcing that knock on. Now here's Revon Pereira with his first touch. Pete Wright's favouring that blind side. Shenuka Pereira brushes off a would-be tackler. He makes good meters. Now spreading it. Here's Revon once again, but that's a good gang tackle from the Josephian forwards. Now to the line they go. Here's Jamal to Netchan. That's excellent rush defense from St. Joseph's, trying to show the referee that he got his hand on that, but ball was made available. But St. Peter's College pushed back a few meters now. St. Joseph's keeping them at bay for the moment. Here's Akram. Takes them back into the 22. First touch for Tarul Hansana.
Go back, last foot, go back, last foot.
Pete Wrights will look to Shenuka Pereira, Revon Pereira and Ashas Akram to do a bulk of their heavy lifting in the forwards department. Now opting to go blindside again. Here's Mantusha, takes a couple of men with him. Eventually brought down on the touchline. Still going Netchan Mantusha. Does really well to make the ball available as well. Now here's Shenuka, like a battering ram through that Josephian defense, causing early trouble for St. Joseph's here. The big Pete Wright forwards. Here's Saber over the top. Not an accurate pass, but it's picked up by Gion. Gion in space on the outside, needs support. Pete Wright needs some quick ball here. Here's Shiraz to Saber, and here's the short ball to Ashaz Akram. This is great continuity here from St. Peter's College. Revon Pereira takes it into contact. Now some space opening up on the wider channel. Worked out wide to Hashar Madugasge. And that's the first Amana Bank try coming to St. Peter's College. Only took them the 2.5 minutes. And Madugasge, fresh off his hat-trick last week, has another Amana Bank try to his name.
Brilliant from the host St. Peter's. From the word go, they have managed to go over for their first Amana Bank try, and they're surely punished the Josephians with that early mistake of dropping that ball. And with over 10 faces in St. Peter's College go over. And a brilliant start for the host here.
Oh, first half, yeah, first half.
Yes, certainly St. Joseph's punished for those early mistakes as Gion tries to curl this one in, and the goal conversion is through. So St. Peter's College, with their first entry into the Josephian 22, walk away with all 7. And this is exactly the start that Coach Rajiv Pereira and his backroom staff would have wanted for the Bamba Brigade.
Indeed, brilliant work for St. Peter's College. And that's what you want, Nathan. Whenever you enter that opposition 22, it's always important to go back with points. And St. Peter's going back with all 7 points. And that will put St. Joseph's College under a lot of pressure. We're just 3.5 minutes into this game. It'll be a mammoth task for the visitors ahead of them.
It's never easy having to play from behind, is it, Reshwan? But St. Joseph's College can take some heart from the fact that they went down early against Ananda College as well, isn't it, last week? Come from behind victory. Their 41 to 19 point win. St. Peter's showed that they've got in attack. Now need to defend. Just a bit of a hold up here before we can get underway. Some early IDEX injury time.
Change again.
Brian Fernando to restart proceedings.
Change on.
An early change, a forced change for the visitors.
Right, time back on.
Good to go, says the referee, as Brian Fernando with a deep restart. They'll need to put pressure on St. Peter's. Not the best of exit kicks, but still gets out of their 22. Rexona line out in favor of St. Joseph's College to follow.
Yes, was under a lot of pressure there, Senuddin Sara, when he took that exit kick. think Peterites could have done a
Keep
bit
the
better
straight
to
line.
try and manufacture a phase or two
Middle.
before they look to get out of their own 22. Yes, Josephian chase was pretty decent.
Ball.
And they have a line out just outside the 22, trying to set that roll in maul, but an early break coming from the Josephians. Now playing it deep to Brian, swinging it onto the open side are the Josephians. They'll want to come back with points.
St. Joseph's College now will look to respond.
Roll away, no hands, release.
Is Inosha Silva. He'll have to put in the hard yards this
Offside,
evening.
penalty advantage.
Hand out for St.
Number
Joseph's
5.
College. A free roll in the dice. And opting to put in the boot, knowing that advantage coming
Number 5.
their way.
Number
St.
5.
Joseph's College will look to
Offside.
probably go at
Number
the
5.
post, but with 7 points down, it's a decision time for the visitors.
So Peterites in their attempt to defend just strain offside. So you can see on the replay, that's what Brian Fernando tried to do with the advantage. Chip and chase didn't work out for him, and St. Joseph's College going for touch. They back themselves to get a score and potentially a 7-pointer here. The 3 points was on offer, was in kickable distance, but St. Joseph's College trying to pull one back and trying to show the Peterites that they are here to play. Here's the second Rexona line out. This time it's a lot better for St. Joseph's College. Dion Peters at the back of it. And the maul defense is not good from St. Peter's College, but unfortunately ball has been spilled. But he'll be thanking his lucky stars that there is an advantage coming their way. St. Joseph's with another opportunity to go again.
Referee having a word probably with the Peterite skipper.
Captain. Bench එකට ගිහලා මැසේජ් එකක් දෙන්න දෙන්න. Next time මොනවා හරි කෑ ගැහුවොත් coach මමගේ එතනින් එළියට යවනවා කියලා මැසේජ් එක දෙන්න. No, ගිහලා.
It's like the Josephian bench there.
හරි ඒක තමයි penalty advantage එක.
Trying to interfere.
Yeah. Player උඩදී. Player land වෙන්න කලින් tackle කරන්න එපා. Player ground එකට land වුණාට පස්සේ player ground එකට land වුණාට පස්සේ tackle කරන්න පුළුවන්. penalty එකක් තියෙනවා. coach එක ගන්න එපා කියන එක. මම advantage play කරලා තියෙනවා. clearනේ? Next time ඊළඟ time එකේ මගේ ඊළඟ option එකට යනවා. දෙකක් වුණා ඒක ළඟ.
ඒක සර් මේ ඒක මේ ගේනවනේ සර් tunnel එක.
Right. එතන බානොත් එක්කම ඔයාලට එන්න පුළුවන් ground එකේ touch වුණාට පස්සේ.
Okay sir. Sorry sir.
Time back on.
Ishan Kabekon clear with his instructions, and it's good to see. Got early on in the game. He's giving it out quite clearly, so regulation touch finder for Fernando. Another Rexona line out in favor of St. Joseph's College.
Stay on the line.
St. Peter's will need to get their maul defense spot on here.
Right, hurry up.
Interesting position that they are taking.
Okay, maul.
Now engaging, doing really well, but St. Joseph's getting their drive on. Support arriving as well, brought down just short of the line.
Back, stay back.
Now a quick ball is what's needed for St. Joseph's. Space opening up on the blind side. Looks to go inward though, do the Josephians. That's the skipper, Inosh Silva.
Last foot.
Within a couple of meters of that try line now. Going over the top here is the number 4. And that's the score for St. Joseph's College. Pulling one back through Satira Gunatilaka. And the Josephian maul early dose has caused some problems for St. Peter's. And it's got the Josephians their reply, Amana Bank try.
Brilliant response from St. Joseph's College. Just what they would have wanted. And the gamble of going to touch has paid off for the visitors, as they'll hope Brian Fernando can add the 2 points and bring this back game to 7 points all. Gunathilaka once again, after a brilliant game last week around, They look to continue the good work in this evening as well. Fernando to add the 2 points to make it all even here. Fernando fails to convert, and that will be a concerning sign for the visitors, because these add-ons are quite important, Nathan, as the game goes on.
Yes,
But
take a look at that. Silva doing the hard work, carrying the ball to within a couple of meters, setting it up nicely for Satira to go over the top. You can see there first off, Shiraz does get a hand under it, but Satira does really well to turn and place the ball.
Take a release. Back.
Oh yes, St. Joseph's. This time their exit is a lot better.
No hands,
Big
no
carry
hands.
coming in there from Hensit Mendes. And winning the penalty as well. Discipline
5.
hasn't been good from the
Not
Petrites so
rolling
far. Third penalty they've given away in quick succession. And if they don't keep that penalty count in check, it's going to be a long day at the office for
5.
the Petrites, because St.
Rolling
Joseph's
side
College
together.
showing that they do have a powerful pack and a really good rolling ball.
Indeed, and a brilliant touch finder from Brian Fernando. He might have missed a couple of points, but that kick has put St. Joseph's College in the opposition 22-meter, and he wouldn't have asked for a better touch finder. And just what the doctor ordered for the visitors. And can St. Joseph's College repeat what they did last time out? Yet another Rexona line out coming their way.
This time it's overthrown and collected gleefully there by Talish Soiza. It's a line out loss by the Josephians, and Shiraz Pereira straight from base, taking no risk, putting it high up, and the chase is good as well from the Petrites. Revon Pereira throwing that man onto the floor, and St. Joseph's College will have to work their way in from the 40-meter line. Still trusting their forwards.
Back, last foot.
That's Hensit Mendes, who's done a lot of carrying so far. Shaz Akram tried to make the jackal, but unfortunately lost the ball forward in the process. So St. Joseph's will have a scrum to come back to. That's excellent defensive work from Rajit Gion. Ball still loose.
Back.
St. Joseph's trying their hardest to keep possession here. St. Peter's with the rush defense. Now kicked over the top by Nathaniel. And that's gone out into touch. Looks like it will be the line out going the way of the Josephians. The AR saying it came off a Petrite player's hand. So eventually, after a scrappy phase of play, a net gain for St. Joseph's College.
Indeed, St. Joseph's College will have that the previous Rexona line out in their mind after being in such a good position. St. Joseph's College just couldn't win it. Rexona line out time once again. St. Peter's have failed to contest in plenty of occasions, but this time around St. Joseph's doing well with the Rexona line out. Position being won. Pushed well by a thumping tackle by the Petrites. Brian Fernando now with his left foot puts in the dink, and a good chase by St. Joseph's College, and won a penalty. This is brilliant, and St. Peter's College have been guilty in this opening 14 minutes or so in gifting away position, and the visitors with plenty of momentum behind their back have opted for touch, and an important Rexona line out coming up.
Tell you what, that's a really intelligent kick there from Brian Fernando. Spotted the space. I don't know if you can see it here, but the Petrite back three was just scattered. You can see Senuddin Sar momentarily shifted out of position, and just not enough support. Left their fullback isolated and gave away the penalty. And this could be trouble for St. Peter's. Another maul that they failed to defend, and a penalty from 5 meters out for St. Joseph's College. Looking to take the lead for the first time in this game.
Well, St. Peter's College will have to be careful, Nathan. Referee Shankar Bekun's patience might run out because they have been committing those infringement after infringement. And looks like referee Shankar Bekun having a word as well with one of the Peterite forwards from meters out. St. Joseph's College opted for a scrum. Skipper Inosha Silva from the back of the scrum will look to run at this Peterite defense.
So he'll be licking his lips here, as well as Dion Fernando at number 12 for St. Joseph's. Here's Ino Silva with that runway. Brings his side within a meter. Quickly recycled to Brian Fernando under the post, and he gets it down. And that's the second Amana Bank try for St. Joseph's College. And after being under the pump early, they've come back in some style to take the lead for the first time in this game.
Brilliant work from St. Joseph's College, and they have done well to make the Peterites' mistakes pay. Brian Fernando with the second Amana Bank try for St. Joseph's. He's first in the game, and he'll have an opportunity to add all 7 points and go back. This is brilliant work from St. Joseph's College. And since scoring their first Amana Bank try, St. Peter's, they haven't looked at their very best, but plenty of time remaining in the game. With Fernando, regulation couple of points as he converts a successful goal conversion, and all 7 points under Brian Fernando's name. 12 points to 7, and we are in for a cracker of a game here at Bambalapitiya.
St. Joseph's College capitalizing on that ill discipline from the Peterites. They'll really need to pull their socks up here, isn't it, Reshwan? This is where the game was lost last year. Plenty of mistakes in that first half. We've seen some very cheap penalties given away so far by the Peterites. Mall defense has been a problem, and that's something Coach Dulanjana Vijay Singh and St. Joseph's College will look to exploit. The Peterites really need to start playing in the right part of the field and pull their socks up at that breakdown, or else it could be a very long afternoon for them.
Indeed, a deep restart. And he'll look to run at this Peterite defense. That was Chanel Kakure with a good collection.
Release.
Scrums being won by St. Joseph's College. That was the one they won just before that try. Vantage scrums. Now St. Peter's looking in all shambles.
Senuddin Sara with a wayward pass there. Luckily, high tackle advantage coming the way of St. Peter's.
No hands.
This is the lifeline that they needed. Shiraz's exit kick is charged down, but referee will come back to that high tackle penalty. And they'll really need to find some good touch with this. Senuddin Sara and the Peterite back three being put under pressure again. Saw in that earlier phase, Brian Fernando has got quite the heavy boot on him, and that has caused some problems so far. That's what won them one of the penalties, where they went over for the score. This time the penalty has gone the other way, and St. Peter's have found decent touch to get into the Josephian half now.
It will be important for the host to take good advantage of this Rexona line out coming up for them. That's the replay. Interesting to see, and surely a high tackle against the try scorer for St. Joseph's College, Sathira Gunatilaka.
First put into the line out for St. Peter's. Now we'll see what they've got up their sleeve in the rolling maul department. St. Joseph's doing well to counter, forcing the break from Shenuka Pereira, works it out by to Netchan Mantusha. Needs support. Here's Wahab with a wavered ball out to Saber, who does well together, but in the process St. Peter's have been pushed back 5 meters or so. Here's Lakindurana Singh. St. Peter's trying desperately to make that lost ground. Here's Revan Pereira going on the blind side. Now spreading it out wide, space out wide. Here's Senuddin Sara to Sandika Newell. Looks for that offload, support not arriving in time. And that's a massive counter ruck from St. Joseph's College. Shiraz does well to recover. Here's Soisa. That's a penalty for sure. Now here's Shenuka Pereira. Strong carry from the skipper. Jamal Wahab has spotted his runners in space. Madugaske, lovely inside ball. This absolute beauty from St. Peter's College. Lakindu Ranasinghe runs round on the blind side and goes over for their second Amana Bank try. And when these beat right backs find their groove, Reshwan, they are really difficult to stop.
Indeed, a brilliant score for Lakindu Ranasinghe. St. Peter's College have an opportunity to get back that lead with the goal conversion to follow. So Josephian's defense just looked all in shambles, and a brilliant play straight off the training books, we could say. And Ranasinghe making no mistake in jotting that one down. It's 12 points all with a regulation kick to get back the lead for St. Peter's. 14 points to 12 with a successful goal conversion. The host back in the lead.
See if the first 20 minutes are anything to go by, Reshwan. We are set for an absolute thriller here at Bambalapitiya. Both teams exchanging blows. Regulation stuff this time for Gion. Makes no mistake with the goal conversion. And it's 14 points to 12. And the teams will have a 1 minute breather after what has been an exhilarating first 20 minutes, isn't it, Reshwan?
Indeed, a timely break for both teams. High scoring one as of now. It's been end-to-end stuff. Good opportunity for both teams to regroup and talk over their tactics. What's going right, what's going wrong. So will be interesting to see the rest of this first half, how things will be played out.
Yes, still 15 minutes left in this first half, Reshwan. Got plenty of more action to come. And of course, we've got the two other games as well happening parallelly. Wesley taking on Mahanama.
And in the Hill Capitals, St. Anthony's taking on Trinity College.
Time back on.
Trinity College flying high in that game, 27 points to 5. Wesley leading Mahanama 19 points to 7.
That's an interesting kick there from Shiraz Pereira. Saw that the Josephian chase wasn't timed well, but has just hooked it off his right boot. And that will be another Rexona line out for St. Joseph's College.
Okay.
And we've seen how much trouble their rolling maul has caused so far. Another ideal opportunity to pull yet another score back.
That would have been a talk in that brief water break as well, Nathan, from coach Rajiv Pereira to the beat right forwards.
Yes, and it's worked because this time the sack is on point from St. Peter's, as is the defense. Winning that penalty taken quickly by Shenuka Pereira. Here's Gion now, out wide to Mantusha. Sabar needs support. Mantusha running that inside line, breaks past a couple of tackles. Needs some support himself. Still going is Netchan Mantusha, getting those legs pumping. What a run this is. Netchan Mantusha takes St. Peter's to within 10 meters. That's absolutely brilliant stuff from the number 12. Now here's Soisa. Wahab. That's a good spot tackle that time from St. Joseph's. Chance is still live here, but Shiraz needed to do better off the back of that ruck. That could be a chance gone begging, but we'll see what the assistant referee has spotted.
Knock on. Yeah, captain.
Assisting referee Ishan Kapikon was his assistant referee. Charan Elianige.
Yeah. Tackle leg and knock on.
Infringement against the
Line out.
Josephians.
Time back on. Line out.
Yes, we'll be thanking their lucky stars there, the Pete Wrights.
Line out.
There was an infringement from the St. Joseph's College tackler.
Back 10 meters, back 10 meters. Back 10 meters.
And all the pressure created by that lovely run from Nichan Mantusha. And now here the Pete Wrights getting their drive on. Scott, the skipper, at the back of that rolling maul. Looking for space. Now breaks this Shenuka Pereira onto the 5-meter line.
Roll away.
Tackler needs to get away.
Back, offside, penalty advantage.
And that's offside there. That's cynical from St. Joseph's. But St. Peter's don't need the advantage as they've gone over for their third Amana Bank try. And it's come through Rivon Pereira. One of their better ball carriers gets his first score of the season. And St. Peter's College, whenever they've entered the St. Joseph's College 22, have walked away with points. This time the beneficiary is Revon Pereira.
A deserving score for Revon Pereira.
22
He's
gone.
done plenty of work in his opening 24 minutes or so. And he's finally being rewarded. And St. Peter's College have done well to go over yet another time. 19 points to 12 here. With the hosts looking to run away with it now.
And the goal conversion spot on once again from Rajit Jion. It's 21 points to 12 now. Now St. Peter's College now putting a 9-point gap between themselves and the opposition. So we take a look at how it all started, Reshwan. That's brilliant work at the breakdown from Ashar Madugasge.
Play.
And then Pereira with the presence of mind to take that quick tap. And Nechan Mantosha, what a run from the lad. Really getting those legs pumping.
Back, number 7.
Collective team effort for the Pete Wrights from that score. And that has been a brilliant exit kick for the Pete Wrights as well. So things going the host way in the last few minutes. And I think that water break has done themselves a whole heap of good. As now the Pete Wrights will look to stamp their authority here at home against their arch rival St. Joseph's College. Right in the centre field. Rexona line out in favour of St. Joseph's College. Just a 3-man line out opted by the visitors. 4-man line out rather.
Good.
Doing good work on that occasion was skipper Inosh Silva. In there is now St. Peter's, St. Joseph's rather. Will look to respond. They need a score
on the ground.
to stay in the game.
Use it. Back.
Nathaniel with the box kick, putting Dinsara under some pressure. And in the end of it, that's an excellent kick from St. Joseph's College. Free kick taken quickly by Dion Fernando.
Release.
St. Joseph's College with another attacking opportunity. St. Peter's back 3 being put under pressure once again by the Josephian halves. Now spotting that space out wide. That's a good spot tackle from Rashwin Saber.
Roll away.
St. Joseph's in the red zone now. Will want to walk away with points. That's a big carry from Hensit Mendis.
No.
He's done bulk of the heavy lifting for St. Joseph so far.
Going.
Pete Wright player needs to get out of that ruck. Now here's Brian Fernando, tries to sell the dummy. But read well by Shenuka. St. Joseph's creating phase after phase, and now a small break for Dion Peters. But that's brilliant work. Absolutely brilliant from Shenuka Pereira. Getting himself over that ruck and winning the turnover ball. And St. Peter's will be breathing a huge sigh of relief. Put themselves under pressure, but their captain has stepped up to get them out of trouble here.
Well, St. Joseph's will be kicking themselves, not being able to go on and get a score there. They had some momentum behind their back, but the Peterite skipper up to the task as well. It was Dion Peters with that burst, but coming on top was the Peterite skipper Shenuka Pereira.
Hey, back 10.
St. Joseph's had an opportunity to go at the post, but this time not good work by the line-out thrower from that Rexona line-out. He's lost that ball, so position being overturned. Crooked, says referee Ishanka Abekun. St. Joseph's did some good work to contest that line-out.
Number 9, wait.
So now a scrum in favor of St. Joseph's. The chance is not dead for them still. Inside Peterite territory.
Steady.
There's Nathaniel Jasundara with the feed. Some good pressure exerted, but does well to fish it out. Now to the backs they go.
Roll away.
It's a brilliant gang tackle there on the Josephian ball carrier. Playing it deep to Brian Fernando.
No,
looks for support.
Hands on the ground.
Now tries to twist out of contact, but the ball has gone forward. And St. Joseph's College. Lovely back of the hand pass from Dinsaras, and Peters looking to play from first phase.
No hands on the ground.
Dinsara takes the ball, and that's offside all day from Nathaniel. St. Joseph's a bit scrappy there, and they've been made to pay a price. Lost that scoring opportunity, and have gifted the Peterites a penalty inside their own territory, and Gion will look to get them into the 22.
And Gion fails to find the touch. And now St. Joseph's looking to run from their own 22. Just a dink, but not enough, as St. Peter's College have won back position.
Now here's Madugasge getting over the tackler. Hashar Madugasge runs round to complete his brace and secure the bonus point. Amana Bank try for St. Peter's College. Didn't find touch of the penalty, but that didn't matter in the end, as Hashar Madugasge runs that outside channel beautifully and touches down for the Amana Bank try. It's 26 points to 12 here in favor of the Peterites.
A gifted score, we could say, for the Peterites, but Madugaspe doing so well to go over. Shenuka Pereira with a clean collection has given the Peterites a healthy lead here heading into half-time.
So I don't think that chip ahead was the right call from St. Joseph's College, isn't it, Reshwan?
Time back on. No try. Jump.
Looks like the try has been chalked off. So the assistant referee has spotted something. Be interesting to see another replay there. Think it was when Madugasge got the ball, Reshwan. Think may have been interpreted as if he went over the tackler, and you can't do that unless you're diving for the line. Take a look at that, just there. Jumps to evade the tackler, and you can't do that. And that's well spotted by the assistant referee. We couldn't spot it in real time.
Indeed, brilliant work. That has surely put a lot of relief on the Josephian outfit, but they just can't help themselves here. A crooked throw from that Rexona line out. There's Peterite skipper straight away going for the scrum. 6 Rexona line outs won by St. Joseph's College. St. Peter's with the 4 Rexona lineouts won.
His errors just creeping into the game of St. Joseph's College now, isn't it, Reshwan? They started so well. Now just 2.5 minutes until Lemons. St. Peter's will be looking for that fourth score. Secure that bonus point within the first half.
Keep it inside.
Here's Shiraz with the feed. Straight away going to the backs. Gion to Mantusha. Spots the gap just net Mantusha. But unfortunately has lost the ball forward. That's a bit scrappy there from the Petrite number 12.
Errors creeping in for both the sides.
4 minutes more. 4 minutes.
Couple of minutes away from the half time on our watch. But the time in referee Shankar Bekon's watch is the one that matters.
9.
The line break was on for all money there, Netshan.
9. Crouch.
Just losing it forward while trying to get rid of the ball.
5. Set.
Now the scrum going the way of St. Joseph's. Here's Nathaniel with the feed. Brian Fernando tells the dummy, goes for the chip kick, but it's fallen kindly to Netchan Mantusha. Petrites doing well to recycle. Shiraz puts it up. Chase needs to be good, and it is good from Saber. But luckily that Josephian player was there in support, and he finds a good exit. That's brilliant stuff.
That exit kick was out on the full by the lad in jersey number 24, one of the changers who came in place of Riyan Javardhana, Tikshana Jayasinghe.
Get back.
Josephs haven't been clinical enough in this latter part of the first half.
But on second view in Reshwan, that might have been a full out kick, and yes, it was. Line out taken from inside the Josephian half. Petrites can't get their maul on this time. Pops it up to Ashaz Akram. Does Rana Singh Akram getting those legs pumping? Takes the ball into the Josephian 22. Now spotting the space out wide. Yes, Saber to Senuddin Sara. Newell cuts back in. Needs support. Petrites need to recycle quickly here. Jamal access scrum half.
No, hands on the ground. Advantage.
An advantage for St. Peter's. Josephian players not supporting their body weight there. Dinsara tries to kick ahead, but referee Abekon will come back to the penalty advantage. Thought Dinsara could have done a bit better there, isn't it, Reshwan? You might have an advantage coming your way, but there was an overlap on that right hand side. Now a warning coming to Silva. That's the second or third infringement in quick succession. Getting their hands on the ground while trying to defend those rucks.
Wait. Okay.
And St. Peter's will go for that 5-meter Rexona line out.
Wait.
St. Peter's College will look to try and go over the whitewash and go into the break. And Gion finding touch, got a regulation touch finder. Josephians will defend their lives out now.
That's the offside penalty. Before that, there was the advantage played for not supporting their body weight. Shinuka Pereira line out is spoiled, but he does well to pick up the scraps. Does the Petrite skipper. Now they'll look to go with their forwards. Revon Pereira takes them within 5 meters, and the AR looks like he has spotted something as well. Now here's Abhay Gunawardhana getting those legs pumping. Sheval Abhay Gunawardhana goes over, and St. Peter's College finally have their bonus point Amana Bank try.
Well, what a way to get a score at the brink of half-time. And St. Peter's College wouldn't have asked for a better ending into this first half. They have plenty of breathing space with St. Joseph's College heading into half-time. Abe Gunawaradana making no mistake this time. And just too good as the Josephian defense fail once again to keep the Peterites at bay. 26 points to 12 reads the score. 35 minutes up on our clock. St. Peter's College securing that bonus point try inside the opening 35 minutes.
And Gian makes it a perfect half off the kick in tee as well, adding his 4th goal conversion. And St. Peter's College lead 28 points to 12 at half-time. And you have to say, have their sights firmly set on that Basil Veeratunga Memorial Shield.
And that's half-time for the 66th annual Joe P. Rugby encounter.
St. Joseph's College will have plenty to think about, isn't it, Reshwan? They had some really good patches in that first half, but just that last 10 minutes or so is where the errors crept in. And they conceded those couple of tries on the trot. As you have your half-time confirmation, 28 points to 12 in favor of the hosts.
Plenty of work for the Josephians to do come that second 35 minutes. St. Peter's College with a convincing lead at the break, as plenty to play for the visitors come that second half. Till then, we'll head into a commercial break and be back with the live action on the other side.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
බෑග් වල බොරු ගණන් ගහලා පස්සේ ලොකු ඩිස්කවුන්ට් දෙන දේවල් මාගාව නෑ මහත්.
ඔබේ නිවසේ පරිපූර්ණ නිමාවකට දවටනේ නියම මිල සඳහන් ස්විස් ටෙක් නිෂ්පාදන මිලදී ගන්න. ස්විස් ටෙක් ගන්න ඕනේ හොඳම තීරණය.
අබාන්ස් ෆ්‍රිජ් කියන්නේ අබාන්ස් ෆ්‍රිජ් කියන්නේ පවුලට හරිම ෆ්‍රිජ් එකක්. අබාන්ස් ෆැමිලි එකට හරියන අපේ රටේ ෆ්‍රිජ් එක. එයාව හැල්ල බලන්න ක්ලාස් එකට go. Black Night Go Pocket Perfume. Youth එකට go එකක්. Experience what it means to have true peace of mind with NDB credit cards. NDB credit cards, the advantage in your wallet.
Introducing Elephant House Wonder Bar Gold. Crack your wonder.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
ලීසින් එක ගත්ත වේගෙන්ම හවසින් ලෝන් එක ගන්න ළඟම LB ෆයිනෑන්ස් එකට
සීන විමන් මවනා ඔබටයි
Love Rugby,
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi, fun tamai.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
එතකොට මහත්තයාරුනේ ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව් ග්‍රවුට් වෝටර්ප්‍රූෆින් ස්කිම් කොට් නේ.
ලොකු ඩිස්කවුන්ට් එකක් නැද්ද මුදලාලි? අතන කඩේ 140ක් දෙන්නම් කිව්වා.
බෑග් වල බොරු ගණන් ගහලා පස්සේ ලොකු ඩිස්කවුන්ට් දෙන දේවල් මාගාව නෑ මහත්තයා.
ඔබේ නිවසේ පරිපූර්ණ නිමාවකට දවටනේ නියම මිල සඳහන් ස්විස්ටෙක් නිෂ්පාදන මිලදී ගන්න. ස්විස්ටෙක් ගන්න ඕනේ හොඳම තීරණය.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Perfectly Swiss-Tech Aluminium. නඩත්තු වියදම් නැති ජාත්‍යන්තර සහතික සමග වසර 30ක් දක්වා වගකීමක් ඇති Swiss-Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
දවසම ෆ්‍රෙෂ් වෙන්න. O3 Spirit and Freedom perfumed body spray.
Love Rugby.
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun Tamari.
ලීසින් එක ගත්ත වේගෙන්ම හවසින් ලෝන් එක ගන්න ළඟම LB ෆයිනෑන්ස් එකට එන්න.
සීන විමන් මවනා ඔබටයි.
Perfectly Swiss-Tech Aluminium. නඩත්තු වියදම් නැති ජාත්‍යන්තර සහතික සමග වසර 30ක් දක්වා වගකීමක් ඇති Swiss-Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
Introducing the 2025 TVS Apache RTR 204V.
මාස 24ක් දක්වා ගෙවීමේ පහසුකම් සමගින් මාසික වාරකයේ රුපියල් 4999යි. අබාන්ස් ජාතියේ පරිගණක සැපයුම්කරු.
Introducing Elephant House Wonder Bar Gold. Crack your wonder.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Love Rugby.
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun Tamari.
ලීසින් එක ගත්ත වේගෙන්ම හවසින් ලෝන් එක ගන්න ළඟම LB ෆයිනෑන්ස් එකට එන්න.
සීන විමන් මවනා ඔබටයි.
Perfectly Swiss-Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
NDB Leasing. බාපු ගමන් නැවෙන් ලීසින් එක අපෙන්. ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික්, හයිබ්‍රිඩ්, පෙට්‍රල්, ඩීසල් ඕනම වාහනයකට නොම්බර එකේ ලීසින්. NDB Leasing. NDB බැංකුව.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Introducing Elephant House Wonder Bar Gold. Crack your wonder.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Experience what it means to have true peace of mind with NDB credit cards. NDB credit cards, the advantage in your wallet. Black Night Go, pocket perfume. Youth එකට go එකක්.
Love Rugby.
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun Tamari.
Perfectly. Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
Let's KFC. Making moments special. Most value for money from KFC.
With the plenty to play for the holders of this Reverend Father Basil Veeratunga Trophy, St. Joseph's College have a mountain to climb, as St. Peter's College are surely already with the one hand in the silver where they lost last year. It was Madu Gaspe who started off the scoring in the game. St. Peter's went over there for their first Amana Bank try, and a converted one as well put St. Joseph's College under a lot of pressure. But moments later, through their forwards, Gunathilaka gave a valuable 5-pointer for St. Joseph's College to get back in it, and then Brian Fernando went over and converted his own Amana Bank try to give St. Joseph's College the lead for the first time. But since then, it's been all St. Peter's College with the scoring as they go into the break with a comfortable and healthy lead. 28 points to 12 with plenty to play for in the second 35.
So not the best of starts for St. Peter's. Ball squirts out of that ruck. Exactly the start St. Joseph's would have wanted though. Now find themselves 16 points behind, and unfortunately ball has been spilled like a wet bar of soap there. Josephian skipper Silva with an uncharacteristic error. And the first scrum of this second half, but St. Peter's not out of trouble yet. Have a scrum inside their own 22. Let's take a look at the replay there. Ball was played flat to Silva, but just couldn't get a hold of it. And St. Peter's losing the ball forward while playing that advantage as well. So we'll have the scrum going their way.
Well, I think the guilty party was Dion Fernando on that occasion with dropping that ball cold. So Joseph's will have to limit the errors they do in this second half if they are to come back into this game. And fails to collect that, but against the play.
Akshan Rashmida there off the bench, getting his step on. St. Peter's did well to chase and gather that kick, but St. Joseph's managing to turn over and take play back inside the Pete Wright red zone. It's like plenty of changes by coach Dulanjana Vijay Singh over that 10-minute break. Taken back in. Gion can't kick this one out on the full, so opts for grass instead. That's a decent kick, but the chase needs to be good.
Back, Whites, move,
Josephian fullback puts it up. St. Peter's not managing to gather it first time. Now Shiraz gets there. Does well to make it available. Here's Abhay Gunawardana spreading it out wide. Now Mantusha, that's a brilliant spot tackle though from Brian. Now Dinsara onto the outside. Finds his winger in some space, and that's a high shot. Advantage come in the way of St. Peter's, and could be even further trouble for St. Joseph's.
Well, errors mounting on the Josephians in this second half.
Number 12, high tackle. Number 12.
2.5 minutes into this second 35 minutes, and St. Joseph's have made some costly errors. St. Peter's now spreading that ball out wide.
Advantage over.
Now Saber finds the space, he evades a couple of tacklers. Lovely offload to Mantusha. Madugaske works it out quickly to Rajit Gion, and this is the 5th Amana Bank try for St. Peter's College. Brilliant continuity of play, and the backs have well and truly settled into their groove here in this second half.
Number 12.
Rajit Gion, for all his good play so far, gets a deserved Amana Bank try. But that try was created by Rashwin Saab and Netchan Mantusha, isn't it? Let's take a look at the replay there. That centre pair in absolutely lethal. Saber spotting the space and broke past couple of tackles. Had the presence of mind to get that ball out, as did Mantusha. Spotted that overlap on the right hand side. And just had to stroll in for the try, did Rajit Gion. And he goes over in near the corner flag for St. Peter's College, 5th.
Well, plenty of breathing space now for St. Peter's College. Gion has been 100% with the boot this evening, and he'll continue that record with the 5th gold conversion in the game. And he's having a brilliant game with the boot. And he's got his money's worth with the boot. 10 points already under his name. And St. Peter's College wouldn't have asked for a better start in this second half.
So as we take a look at that try again, backs running those beautiful lines. Nothing much that the St. Joseph's defense could do. And Gion, touchdown in the corner, gave himself a difficult conversion. But his boot is golden today.
Right, okay.
Adds his 5th gold conversion.
Time back on.
And it's 35 points to 12. And St. Peter's running away with it at the moment. St. Joseph's College will need to be careful here. And straight away making an error there.
Already committed.
Not able to commit that kickoff. You get the feeling, isn't it, Rashwan, that St. Joseph's will need to be the side to score next if they are to find a way back into this game.
Indeed, Nathan. If they are the team who are scoring next, I think the winners will be quite straightforward. St. Peter's are surely way ahead in the game. And we could say a mountain to climb for the visitors.
Say, bind, keep it bind.
Here's Brian to his center, spots the space, does the number 13, does really well to get the offload out. Now Brian on the wraparound. St. Peter's doing their darndest to defend. Here's Hingert. Now going with Satira Gunatilaka, their forwards. Did a lot of good work for them in that first half from this kind of range. Here's Hingert again, goes over the top to the number 13 and have an overlap on that left hand side. That tackle was good from Senuddin Sara to stop the Josephian winger in his tracks.
Offside.
And now an offside advantage coming for St. Joseph's. They really need to make this chance count. Here's Inosh Silva. Now within 5 meters. Rashmida looks to switch direction. He goes to one of his replacement forwards. Looking to go from the fringes here are the Josephians. They've suddenly got the pendulum to swing their way, but they need the points to back it up, Rishwan.
Indeed, now from meters out, face after face for St. Joseph's. They need a score. They need to go back with a score. St. Peter's have once again conceded a penalty. Advantage for the visitors. Is now defending their hearts out are the Petrites. Once again hand out. Surely referee Ishanka Bekun's patience might run out, and he might go into the pocket with the 4 infringements after infringements going against the Petrites. And referee Abekon trying to find the guilty party.
Number 12.
That must have been 15 phases in that Josephian attack, and 4 of those
repeated offside
were infringements, multiple offsides.
General warning එකක් දෙනවා. Team එකට message එකක් දෙන්න. Next time මගිලා warning එකට
He'll be very lucky to walk away with just a warning. Shouldn't be protesting there, Rishwan.
One penalty.
Lucky to still be on the field, the Petrite number 12. But St. Peter's, to their credit, defended their hearts out. But St. Joseph's will have an advantage, and they've opted for a scrum from right under the sticks.
Interesting call from St. Joseph's College. With having some momentum behind their back from meters out. Some may think why they didn't opt to go with that quick touch. But from the back of the scrum, skipper Inoche Silva will break out for sure.
Hold it.
Inoche Silva breaks out.
Release.
But he's been tackled well by this Petrite defense. We've been right on the money this time around.
Last foot. Go back. Offside.
And still committing yet another infringement. Hand out for the Josephians. Another free roll in the dice.
Number 8 offside.
For St. Joseph's College. What more do they need to go over? Still 1 or 2 more movements out, but this time St. Joseph's College haven't managed to go over. But a couple of infringements going against St. Peter's College, and the patience have run out for referee Shankar Bekun, as skipper Shenuka Pereira will spend 10 minutes in the sin bin.
Out.
And the Petrites can find themselves quite lucky not to concede a score.
Captain.
Yes, their defending has been on point, isn't it, Rashwan? It's just that they've
stay on the line.
Been a bit too over-eager on some occasions, getting ahead of that gain line.
Offside.
3 offside penalties taken quickly now by St. Joseph's. They really need to make this count.
With the likes of Shenuka Pereira not being there, it's St. Joseph's College who get a score, and an important score in the contest of the game. They need a lot more from Satira Gunatilaka if they have to come back into this. A third Amana Bank try for the visitors, as they'll hope Brian Fernando will do the stuff with the boot to get the 2 points. Satira Gunatilaka gets his second in the game, as St. Joseph's College now getting back into it, and in quick time Fernando converts it, a goal conversion for St. Joseph's College. 35 points to 19. And do we have a game in our hands, Nathan?
Yes, St. Joseph's certainly needed to score first, and you can see straight away St. Peter's feeling the absence of their skipper in defense. He's one of their heavy hitters, and against the big Josephian front row, there's no stopping them from that kind of range. Brian Fernando adding the goal conversion. 35 points to 19 now, and yes, we do have a game on our hands, Rashwan. So you take a look at how the try was scored.
Well, it will be a massive 10 minutes coming up with just the 14 men on the park for the Petrites. The Josephians will have to capitalize on it. They'll need to play more rugby in the opposition 22 if they are to try and get one more score, maybe another.
Number 8.
And two more scores here will make it a lot interesting. And St. Joseph's will need converted scores to get closer to the Patriots' 35 points. Referee Abekon having a small chat with Inoj Silva. Good to see some smiles on the face of the Josephian skipper.
Time back on.
He's been a workhorse for the boys from Dali Road. It's a restart kick, a high hanging one. And this time drops it. Well, after scoring, you just can't commit those kind of mistakes. And when you're plenty of points down, you need to be more clinical and have more responsibility.
Number 8 now,
and that's St. Joseph's College probably gifting away position inside their own 22. And this can be a cardinal mistake for the lads from Dali Road.
Number 8 now.
Yes, they'll want to get possession, isn't it, Reshwan? But they aren't going to do it like that. St. Peter's are down to 14 men. St. Joseph's need as much possession in this next 10 minutes as they possibly can. But unfortunately, they are
crouch,
making the unforced error. Shenuka Pereira watches anxiously. As St. Peter's, quite a brave call to go to the scrum without their skipper. 7-man scrum for the Patriots. Here's Shiraz, Jamal Wahab, Gion on the overlap, looks for his options. Quick ball needed here for St. Peter's, not enough support. And that's an advantage coming the way of St. Joseph's College. That's brilliant work at the breakdown to get that turnover in.
Well, they needed that quite desperately. St. Joseph's College, they've done well to win back position. So it's a matter of finding touch and working things from there on.
Yes, but that St. Peter's, you just have to do better, isn't it, Reshwan? As that's taken quickly, and they've spotted the space in behind. 50-22 kick on here. That's an absolute beauty from St. Joseph's College.
Brilliant from the boot of Brian Fernando. He's been clinical whenever St. Joseph's College have gone on to do good things in this game. And once again produces a brilliant kick. And now from meters out, a Rexona line out in favor of St. Joseph's.
Number 20.
Let's take a look at that. There's just not enough support, leaving Gion isolated.
Time back on.
Stayed on his feet for as long as possible.
Okay.
And then St. Joseph's had the presence of mind to contest. And Brian Fernando with an absolute peach.
Maul.
Now minus their skipper, the Patriots have to defend the Josephian role in maul. Brought down, but they are quick to recycle it. Will look to run at these fringes. Will these big Josephian forwards. Squeezes away from one tackle, does the number 13. But that's brilliant. Or is it
first moment?
St. Peter's College managing to get the turnover.
Mark here. Mark me.
Thought the penalty had been blown the other way, Reshwan, but looks like the Patriots have done really well. Desperate defense. This time working out for them, and they've got themselves out of trouble.
St. Joseph's looked quite in a hurry, but now once again that kick fails to find touch, and St. Joseph's fail to collect that ball cleanly. And a comedy of errors between the two sides. But the brighter side for St. Peter's College though. And St. Joseph's were just too much in a hurry. They didn't play that patience game. They know St. Peter's College, one man down. They know they needed to score there to try and have a sniff in the game. But St. Joseph's College have themselves to blame.
Couch.
As a scrum, a vantage scrum in favor of the Patriots to follow.
Set. Steady.
He's just hooked that off his boot, did Gion.
Keep your bind. Outside. Number 9.
Now St. Peter's will look to get that exit kick in. Gion thumps this one downfield. Brian Fernando is there. Opts for that chip kick once again, but again gleefully into the hands of Saber, who's brushed off the tackler. Here's Rashwin Saber for the line now, and it's going to be a breakaway try for St. Peter's. And it's gone all wrong for St. Joseph's there, as St. Peter's collect their sixth. And Saber, man of the match last week, gets on the score sheet this time round as well. And those chips ahead from Brian Fernando just don't seem to be working, Rishwan. Once again, gleefully into the hands of Saber, but brilliant work from him to stay on his feet, evade that tackle, and that ankle tap from Hingert is just no good.
25 seconds gone.
Saber goes right under the post.
Well, St. Joseph's College have themselves to blame, conceding that Amana Bank try. Brain fade moment from Brian Fernando, who's been having a decent game with the boot. And I think that's a spread around, as a regulation gold conversion being missed by Madu Gaspe, not Gion, who had a 100% kicking boot in the game.
Number 10 off. Number 10 off.
But
number 10 off.
Brian Fernando basically assisting Sabah for that try. And the Josephians have themselves to blame, being 21 points down.
So Sabah with an early birthday gift perhaps, Rishwan. And yes, Madugasge taking over the kicking duties, has made hash of his first conversion, but it's a 21-point gap here at Bambalapitiya. 50 minutes on the clock.
That goal conversion won't do a lot of worry for the Petrites. The 21 points up. Rexona lineouts, 8 lineouts are won by St. Joseph's College, just the 4 for the Petrites. With 20 minutes down, basically the Josephians will have to go at a quick rate to try and get back into this game. They'll have to score 3 converted tries to equal points with St. Peter's College. That will be quite a mountain to climb, especially playing here at Bambalapitiya. St. Peter's College look a different outfit.
So this time the sack is good from Ashaz Akram. Petrites' small defense has gotten better as the game has progressed.
No, roll away.
St. Joseph's still with possession though. Here's the skipper. Breaks into the Petrite 22. But that's a massive counter ruck from the Petrites. Doing really well to contest there. But unfortunately, gifting the penalty away. Bit over eager on that occasion.
Number 12.
And a penalty coming the way of the Josephians, who'll look for touch, and it looks like Brian Fernando has been hooked, Reshwan.
He's had a decent game with the boot. He found some brilliant touches. He got that 50-22 as well. But things haven't gone the Josephians' way, especially in the second 35 minutes and the latter part of that first 35. Plenty of errors that kept on coming in for the Josephians have resulted them in a 21-point deficit. The good line out time from St. Joseph's. Still playing a man down are the Petrites, who have done brilliantly well to keep St. Joseph's College at bay. They've conceded just 7 points since their skipper going to the sin bin. Gunathilaka with a burst, but a very poor pass, but Kandappa gathers it cleanly.
Back. Offside, penalty advantage, number 6.
And out for St. Joseph's College. Line offside is the call. Quick hands, Satira Gunathilaka. Good up defense coming in from Pereira. A long cutout pass.
Dinsara once again managing to mark his man.
High tackle.
And That's a high shot coming in. So 2 penalty advantages come in the way of St. Joseph's.
Decision time for the Josephians. They take one in the far corner. They look to put this one into touch and go from there. With a man down, can St. Joseph's go over? They need to. 40 points to 19. 17 minutes left on our clock in the game. St. Peter's College may think they have this one in the bag. Good work in Rexona line-out time from St. Joseph's. Picked up well from skipper Silva, who's failed to go over the whitewash. And referee Shankar Bekon says held up as
it's another chance gone begging for St. Joseph's College. I think that's Janik Abegunavardhana off the bench that manages to prevent that ball from being grounded. The break was on from Dion Peters. Rana Singh did well to hold him, and yes, it was Janik Abegunavardhana that did really well to wrestle his man to the floor and make sure that ball was not grounded. And St. Peter's now back to their full complement of 15. Skipper back on the park. And will restart proceedings with a goal line dropout. St. Joseph's will be scratching their heads, isn't it, Reshwan? But very wasteful in that 10-minute period, just getting that one score in. And I think St. Peter's will be the happier side with how that went.
Indeed, Nathan, and I think importantly in that 10-minute window they managed to go over as well against the run of play. And that has really put the Peterites in a very comfortable position and with plenty of breathing space as well. St. Joseph's just looking confused in attack.
High tackle.
High tackle call against the Peterites. So once again hand out for the Josephians.
Yes, they really need to keep their discipline in check, do the Peterites, or it could be another card coming as that advantage is kicked away and collected by Ashok Krishan.
No advantage, back to the penalty advantage.
Advantage over has been called, so we'll come back for that high tackle. But like I was saying, Reshwan, that penalty count has been a problem.
Number 30, high tackle.
Throughout this 55 minutes that we played so far.
Number 30.
Well, it's been stop-start affair in this second 35 minutes, and surely doing bulk of the defensive work are the Peterites. They are doing it brilliantly well because they have managed to keep the Josephians at bay.
Number 10. Number 10.
Another Rexona line out coming up.
High tackle Channepa.
That was the high tackle call against the Peterites. Nippy halfback Arshan. Arshan trying to pierce that gap.
So Jamal Wahab, the guilty party there. And it's an excellent touch find from Dion Fernando to put the Josephians within 5 meters. But again, the defense of the maul is good. And that turnover as well. St. Peter's, the forwards have really pulled their socks up in this second half, haven't they?
Use it!
Have kept the Josephian forwards at bay. It's another maul that they've managed to defend as Akram gets those legs pumping. Peterites
move back.
Trying to manufacture their exit here. Gion ran out of space there and has not managed to put the ball out of touch. St. Joseph's can collect and have some broken space to run into now. This Kandappa, but that's offside. You can't do that if you're Chanel Kakure. Reshwan have to show much better presence of mind. And it's taken quickly from Jamal Wahab. Netshan Mandusha tries to duck past the tackle. Ball is still loose. And looks like it was lost forward, but quick thinking from the Peterites. Try and catch the Josephian defense snapping. Let's take a look at how that went.
Number 17, Dahata.
Kandappa with the knock on, and Chanel Kakure from an offside position played that ball, but luckily for St. Joseph's, St. Peter's with a knock on in the process of trying to launch that attack. They have a chance to get themselves out of trouble. Jamal Wahab, quick thinking from him. Mantusha unfortunately just lost his foot in there. And Abegunavardhana just wasn't ready for that inside ball.
Time back on.
So errors all round in this second half, isn't it, Reshwan?
Couch!
Indeed, Nathan, and I think it's been a great testament of defensive work for the Patriots, especially in this second half. They've managed to keep St. Joseph's College at bay, especially in that 10-minute period with the absence of their skipper. They did brilliantly well to not concede
Number 10,
any points.
not 5 meters.
And that's what good teams
Not 5
do.
meters.
Defense is what can win you championships, they say. And surely the Patriots' defensive work has been right on point.
Yes, haven't been without their errors though. There's another penalty has been given away. St. Joseph's have it from halfway. Take play 10 meters forward. Dion Fernando, who's taken on the kicking duties after Brian was called to the bench. 12 minutes left in this game now. 12 minutes stand in between St. Peter's College and the Basil Veeratunga Memorial Shield. As it's some quick work off the line out this time, not trying to get them all on. But that's really well read by Madugasge. Makes the tackle. Another scrappy pass from St. Joseph's, but he manages to evade the tackler, does Shanel Kakure, but brought down eventually by Jamal Wahab. Now here's Satira Gunatilaka. Again, a well-marked tackle from Shenuka. And Akshan opts to go to the box kick, but again, well read by Rajit Gion. Manages to get that offload out as well. And St. Peter's trying to play themselves out of their own 22. Quick recycle ball to Din Saral.
Ball is available. Ball is available.
Now just trying to slow things down here. Abhay Gunawardana tries to pump those legs.
Ball away.
The latch work from Akram is good on that occasion. Yes, Soisa.
No, clear release.
Petrite forwards now coming into this game. Here it is for Madugasge, who spots the space, finds the ball out to Ashok Krishan, gets past the first tackler, needs support. Here's Wahab. Now out to Revon Pereira, who's isolated. But the support play is good, and here's Shiraz Pereira recycling quickly, and Hashar Madugasge goes over for his brace. St. Peter's College making it look all too easy here. St. Joseph's defense having absolutely no answers.
Well, this time around, Madugaspe is surely getting his brace. His second Amana Bank try. As the Patriots now running away with it.
Yes, take a look at this continuity of play here. Brilliant stuff. Shiraz Pereira had the presence of mind.
What in the back?
And Madugasge ran that beautiful support in line. Loves that wider channel for a flanker. And he has been quite a potent try scorer so far for St. Peter's. And looks like the goal conversion has been added by Ashok Krishan.
Number 8.
Regulation one from right under the sticks.
Time off. Number 8.
And St. Peter's College move up to 47 points. Just 9 minutes left in this game. St. Peter's will be eyeing up that half century as well. Had 67 points last week, 45 this week. And 9 more minutes left to play.
It's been yet another clinical performance from St. Peter's College this evening. This game was just not about a league game as well, Nathan. A game where they play for a lot of pride against their arch rivals, St. Joseph's College. And now surely we could say that the Reverend Father Basil Veeratunga Trophy will be heading towards Bambalapitiya.
Yes, Senuddin sir, I haven't seen a lot of him today. Hasn't had a lot of work to do.
Vice, no hand. Vice, you're going off it.
Quickly recycled by Shiraz. Wahab puts in the kick ahead, and the Josephian winger makes hash of it. Collected by Saber, who unfortunately gave that pass out, came out the front of the hand rather. But luckily for St. Peter's, they were under an advantage for that knock-on.
Peters. Number 15.
Wahab putting it high, giving his runners enough time to get there, and was not doing his side any favors on that occasion. Hirusha Manahara. Unfortunately, Saber's offload went forward, but Pete Wrights with a scrum inside Josephian territory. As more changes come in, looks like Coach Vijay Singh emptying his bench here, trying everything that he can. But there just hasn't been a way through for St. Joseph's.
Sit. Keep your weight control. Keep him here. Keep your mind. Keep shoulder.
Yes, Shiraz with the feed.
Use it.
Now send it to the line. Lovely looping ball for Mantusha, who breaks past the first tackler. Does really well to stay on his feet there. Gets those legs pumping. Support a rise for him as well. Finally brought down. Another excellent carry from the Pete Wright centre. Here's Krishan to Nandu Najit. Again does well to stay on his feet.
Back.
Changes made by St. Peter's as well. It's like Shevan Arosh is on the park in the number 21 jumper. Now have an overload on that left hand side. Wahab shows and goes, and that's cynical from St. Joseph's. High tackle for all money there. Quickly recycled by Shiraz. But referee will want to come back to that. Wahab has stayed on the floor as well. Certainly at least talking to Wahab. Selling the dummy beautifully. And caught around the neck there by Nehemiah for St. Joseph's.
Thank you. Number 10, okay? Back. Back. Get back. Time back on.
Shiraz tried to take it quickly, but the pass went forward.
31.
And St. Peter's College have interestingly pointed to the post here, Reshwan.
Captain.
Probably looking for that half century.
Indeed, surely on the cards now to get that 50 points on the board in the second week counting. St. Peter's College couldn't do a foot wrong in the second 35 minutes. They really came into this game in the latter part of that first half. From then on, it was pretty tough to stop this Pete Wright outfit.
Take it.
Well, that's the 50 points on the board. An elated faithful present here at the St. Peter's College grounds will be happy that Ashok Krishan gets the 50 points on the board for St. Peter's College.
So what a psychological advantage this is. Brings the crowd here at Bambalapitiya to their feet. Perfectly bisects the posts. And St. Peter's College have 50. And your mind goes back to some of the Joe Peets of years gone by, Reshwan. In the last 5 or 6 years also, this has been quite a close encounter. But your mind goes back to the pre-2010s era, isn't it? I think St. Peter's had 101 points to 5 victory over St. Joseph's back in 2007. And looks like the Saints,
back on.
or this Battle of the Saints, the Battle of the Saints has gone the correct way this time, Reshwan.
Surely on the cards, St. Peter's coming in as favourites, and they have justified that tagline here at home. St. Joseph's with some trouble ahead of this game as well. But the Pete Wrights have done brilliantly well to dominate the Josephians at home. Have really gone and done a massive win here. And this win will do a whole heap of good for the Peterites come the remaining games in this first round. St. Joseph's just look a lot confused now with nothing gone their way in this second 35. Gunnar Tilaka with a carry.
Release! Roll away first. Roll away.
Yes, and we just 3.5 minutes left, fresh. We have to come into that discussion of the Swiss Tech
Penalty
perfect
advantage.
play of the match as well. Exactly, some names in the hat there from this Peterite outfit. Likes of Netchan, Mantusha, Rashwin Saab, the centers today were lethal once again, as has been Hashar Madugasge, probably the front runner for this award. But what are your thoughts, Reshwan?
Well, the likes of Gion as well. He's made some points with the boot, but Madugaspe has had a brilliant game. Has a run from the scrum half and gaining some important meters to make this scoreline a lot more convincing for the Peterites. They went on to score 67 points last week around, and they have picked up from where they left off and breaching that 50 points. Wouldn't have been on the cards this evening, but they have managed to absolutely go berserk in this game against St. Joseph's.
Release! Back.
Yes, Peterites have certainly raised the temperature here at Bambalapitiya.
No.
St. Joseph's would have hoped this game would have been a lot closer. Now Peterites trying to close it out on a high. Wahab goes over the top to Arush. Plenty of support. Josephians trying to wrestle him through, but that looks like it's another try. No, unfortunately, has been held up. Some good play there from the Peterite supporting players, but Josephian forwards doing their job. But we have to come back to the Swiss Tech perfect play of the match discussion, Reshwan.
Well, Nathan, I'll give you the honors to do that. It's been a convincing win for the Peterites, and they'll take back what they lost last year. The silver back to Bambalapitiya.
Get behind, please. Behind the kicker. Behind the kicker.
It's over to you to decide on the Swiss Tech perfect player of the match. It's been a collective team effort, and you'll have to do the hard job of appointing a Swiss Tech perfect player of the match.
As for me, it boils down to two names, Reshwan, Netchan Mantusha and Hashar Madugasge, both of whom have been simply superb. As here's another chip ahead from Dinsara. But yes, it boils down to those two names. They've done a lot of carrying, they've done a lot of the heavy lifting in attack. But for me, for his work in defense as well, it has to go to Hashar Madugasge in that number 7 jumper. Was absolutely brilliant when he occupies that outside channel. Plays almost like a winger in possession and does his job in defense as well. Prevented couple of Josephian attacks. So for an all-round performance today, my Swiss Tech perfect of the player of the match nomination goes to Hashar Madugasge.
Indeed, went over on a couple of occasions as well, and he's had a brilliant day in attack and in defense as well, Nathan.
Time over.
I think you have made the good call, and that's the game here at Bambalapitiya. St. Peter's College will get their hands back on the Reverend Father Basil Veeratunga trophy, and it's been a clinical and a convincing performance for the Peterites against St. Joseph's College. 50 points to 19, and that's a massive win for the Peterites here at home, and they have picked up from where they left off last week around. And at the end of 70 minutes, good to see both teams just embracing a handshake between the two.
St. Joseph's College tried their hardest, especially in that first half. Had a passage where they were ahead of the game as well. But after those errors crept into their game, after that 1 minute water break, in fact, isn't it, Reshwan? And for the entirety of the second half, it really went just one way. And Reverend Father Basil Veeratunga will remain in Bambalapitiya for at least the next year. And as far as Joe Pete rugby encounters go, Reshwan, certainly one of the more one-sided ones, this one.
surely. The Patriots have really done well here. Full-time score confirmation. St. Peter's College 50. St. Joseph's College 19. Just the one score for the Josephians in the second half. But plenty of scores coming in the way for the Patriots as they will get their hands back on the prestigious Reverend Father Basil Veeratunga Trophy. And it will be a proud moment for skipper Shenuka Pereira as him together with his charges have done a convincing performance to get back the silverware. It's the Bamba Brigade who storm their way to get their hands on that prestigious trophy.
Yes, and St. Joseph's College will really be hurting, isn't it, Rishwan? 41 points to 19. They won last week. They were right in a high wave of momentum. But St. Peter's College are the side that brought the heat to this encounter. And St. Joseph's will want to brush this one off as they head into the rest of this league stage of the Dialog Scores Rugby League. It's just one loss, so not all hope is lost for St. Joseph's College. Have plenty of more favourable fixtures set to come their way, and their season certainly isn't over.
Indeed, Nathan, St. Joseph's College will have to go back into the drawing books. Surely a tough outing here will be a good eye-opener. But they'll really need to get their act together come the next few games, because this result will be a massive hit for them if they are to try and contest in that cup segment, because they have the likes of Wesley College to face as well. So plenty of tough assignments ahead of the lads from Dali Road. But you can take nothing away from the Patriots. It's been a clinical performance, especially in the second 35. They couldn't put a foot wrong. It's been a great testament of defensive rugby they did in that 10-minute window, Nathan, when they went down to 14 men, losing their skipper, who has played a pivotal role in defense in the last couple of seasons. And the Patriots have really made a statement here and given a big eye-opener for the rest of the teams in the league as well.
Yes, as we take a look at the highlights, this is where St. Joseph's got ahead of the game. Brian Fernando with that Amana Bank try to put the Josephians 12 points to 7 ahead. But from then on, it was all one-way traffic. St. Peter's backline really came to the party. That was a try for Lakindu Ranasinghe, straight from the training ground, that one. And Gion was 100% off the tee in the kicks that he did take. Revon Pereira there getting his score in. This was all in the first half. And then the Patriots rounded it off with the bonus point as Shevala Begunawardana got those legs pumping. Close out that first half on a high. St. Peter's wrapping up their bonus point, taking 28 points back with them. And then this was in the second half. St. Peter's College, again, lovely work from the backline. Saber, they run some lovely angles, don't they, Reshwan, these Patriot backs. The ball was worked to Rajit Gion, who touched down in the corner to get a well-deserved try.
Well, this boy with the boot has been brilliant. That far right-hand goal conversion really put the cherry on the top for his performance with the boot. St. Joseph's College had their moments in the game. They were meters out when the Patriots were conceding a penalty after penalty. But then Gunathilaka went over to probably give a sniff in the game for the Josephians, but that wasn't the case. St. Joseph's may have some scores that they have themselves to blame, but the Peterites' clinical performance just couldn't put the Josephians back on track in the game. Madu Gaspe, his Swiss Tech perfect player of the match performance, tipped off with a brace, as he was just brilliant in attack and in defense throughout the 70 minutes.
And this to put the cherry on top, really high tackle on Jamal Wahab, and Ashok Krishan spot on with the penalty to give the Peterites the half century, and then this to close it all out from Shiraz Pereira and bring an end to a memorable Reverend Father Basil Veeratunga Memorial Shield encounter. So you take a look at your key stats. St. Peter's College with 50 points, 7 tries, 6 conversions and that 1 penalty. St. Joseph's College with 3 tries and 2 conversions. And our Swiss Tech perfect player of the match, Hashar Madugasge from St. Peter's College, for an all-round performance.
Indeed, brilliant from the Peterites here. It's been a convincing win over St. Joseph's College, and the scoreline really does show that 50 points to 19 as the Peterites continue their winning momentum from last week into this second week as well. Just the 1 conversion missed, and that was fairly one of the easier conversions, Nathan, as we take a look at the upcoming fixtures in this week number 2. Plenty of rescheduled games from today will be played tomorrow, as Lumbini College will take on Sri Sumangala College, who started off this league campaign on a high last week, beating DSA Nanayaga College, as they will battle it out against Lumbini at Police Park tomorrow. And then Prince of Wales College will host Anand College at the Air Force grounds in Ratmalana. And then Science College will host Zaira College at their home ground tomorrow evening. And Thurston College will be high on confidence after beating the Thomians last week around, as they take on Royal College at the stadium. And then one of the rescheduled games that are to be played tomorrow, Isi Patana host DSA Nanayaga College at Royal Complex. All games scheduled kickoff 4:15 p.m. as we will go live at 3:45 p.m. And to all our viewers, the second leg of the New Zealand Under 85 kg tour to Sri Lanka will be played tomorrow up in Nettabala, and that well and surely will be a closely watched game on Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel, ThePapare.
And with that being said, Reshwan, that's a wrap here from the St. Peter's College grounds in Bambalapitiya. It's been an absolute pleasure from myself, Nathan Coggins, Reshwan Pereira, and the entire Papare technical and production crew. See you all tomorrow.
by for opener.
Sri Lanka's #1 sports channel, ThePapare.
3, 2, 1, roll off.
ඉතින් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ අංක ක්‍රීඩා නාලිකාව ThePapare සමග.
Welcome back to ThePapare.
Welcome to the live broadcast from ThePapare.
Good luck, guys. Good luck, everyone.
ThePapare, Sri Lanka's #1 television sports channel.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
ගෙවන් යන්න ෆෝන්ස් ගන්න ළඟම ආබාන්ස් එකට යන්න ලොකු පොඩි හැම ෆෝන්ස් ගන්න ළඟම ආබාන්ස් එකට යන්න හොඳම ෆෝන් එකක් ගන්න ළඟම ආබාන්ස් එකට යන්න.
Pain can pause your active life. Get the all-new Move Pain Relief Spray for fast, long-lasting pain relief.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Introducing Elephant House Wonder Bar Gold. Crack your wonder.
Experience what it means to have true peace of mind with NDB credit cards. NDB credit cards, the advantage in your wallet.
Saratona enjoy karanga party ekata go.
Night Go, pocket perfume. Youth ekata go ekak.
එතකොට මහත්තයාරුනේ ටයිල් ඇඩිසිව් ග්‍රවුට් වෝටර්ප්‍රූෆින් ස්කිම් කොට් නේ.
ලොකු ඩිස්කවුන්ට් එකක් නැද්ද මුදලාලි අතන කඩේ 140ක් දෙන්නම් කිව්වා.
බෑග් වල බොරු ගණන් ගහලා පස්සේ ලොකු ඩිස්කවුන්ට් දෙන දේවල් මාගාව නෑ මහත්තයා.
ඔබේ නිවසේ පරිපූර්ණ නිමාවකට දවටනේ නියම මිල සඳහන් ස්විස්ටෙක් නිෂ්පාදන මිලදී ගන්න. ස්විස්ටෙක් ගන්න ඕනේ හොඳම තීරණය.
Dawasam refresh when the train ekata go.
Night Go, pocket perfume. Youth ekata go ekak.
Let's KFC. Making moments special. Most value for money from KFC.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
බෑග් වල බොරු ගණන් ගහලා පස්සේ ලොකු ඩිස්කවුන්ට් දෙන දේවල් මාගාව නෑ මහත්තයා.
ඔබේ නිවසේ පරිපූර්ණ නිමාවකට දවටනේ නියම මිල සඳහන් ස්විස්ටෙක් නිෂ්පාදන මිලදී ගන්න. ස්විස්ටෙක් ගන්න ඕනේ හොඳම තීරණය.
Love Rugby.
Live Rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun Tamari.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
ලීසින් එක ගත්ත වේගෙන්ම හවසින් ලෝන් එක ගන්න ළඟම LB ෆයිනෑන්ස් එකට එන්න.
සීන විමන් මවනා ඔබටයි.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
NDB Leasing බාපු ගමන් නැවෙන් ලීසින් එක අපෙන් ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික් හයිබ්‍රිඩ් පෙට්‍රල් ඩීසල් ඕනම වාහනයකට නොම්බරේකේ ලීසින් NDB Leasing NDB බැංකු.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Pain can pause your active life. Get the all-new Move Pain Relief Spray for fast, long-lasting pain relief.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Perfectly ස්විස්ටෙක් ඇලුමිනියම් නඩත්තු වියදම් නැති ජාත්‍යන්තර සහතික සමග වසර 30ක් දක්වා වගකීමක් ඇති ස්විස්ටෙක් ඇලුමිනියම්. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Introducing the 2025 TVS Apache RTR 204V.
Introducing Elephant House Wonder Bar Gold. Crack your wonder.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
කිචන් එක අබාන්ස් කරන්නේ දැන් වයිෆුත් හැපි එකේ ඉන්නේ
වයිෆ් හැපි කරන්න කිචන් එක අබාන්ස් කරන්න Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Perfectly. Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
අව්ව නිසා බොඩි එක කූල් නැත්තම් මයින්ඩ් එකත් කූල් නැහැ. ඒකට තමයි Dettol Icy Cool.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
හඳුන්වාදන කීල්ස් ක්‍රෙස්ට් අල්ටිමේට් ක්‍රිස්පි චිකන් එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් එක. ක්‍රන්චි කටගැස්මකට ක්‍රිස්පි චිකන් තයි. ස්පයිසි වයිබ් එකට ස්පයිසි ක්‍රිස්පි චිකන් ස්ට්‍රිප්. ෂෙයා කරන් කන්න ක්‍රිස්පි චිකන් පොප්කෝර්න්. රස ඩබල් කරන බාර්බිකියු සෝස් සමග කීල්ස් ක්‍රෙස්ට් අල්ටිමේට් ක්‍රිස්පි චිකන් එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් එක.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Experience what it means to have true peace of mind with NDB credit cards. NDB credit cards, the advantage in your wallet.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Every modern professional needs Vantage. For those who demand the best. Vantage for the modern professional.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Pain can pause your active life. Get the all-new Woo Pain Relief Spray for fast, long-lasting pain relief.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Love rugby.
Live rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun tamari.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Perfectly. Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
Vantage for the modern professional.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
NDB Leasing. බාපු ගමන් නැවෙන් ලීසින් එක අපෙන්. ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික්, හයිබ්‍රිඩ්, පෙට්‍රල්, ඩීසල් ඕනම වාහනයකට නොම්බර එකේ ලීසින්. NDB Leasing. NDB බැංකුව.
Park Avenue. Long-lasting fragrance. Unshakable confidence.
Introducing new Air Action Mentos, the peak of freshness. Mentos, yes to fresh.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Every modern professional needs Vantage. For those who demand the best. Vantage for the modern professional.
Abans fridge kiyanne. Abans fridge kiyanne. Bawulata harima fridge ekak. Abans family ekata hariyana ape rate fridge එක.
Introducing Elephant House Wonder Bar Gold. Crack your wonder.
ලීසින් එක ගත්ත වේගෙන්ම හවසින් ලෝන් එක ගන්න ළඟම LB ෆයිනෑන්ස් එකට එන්න.
සීන විමන් මවනා ඔබටයි.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Perfectly Swiss Tech Aluminium නඩත්තු වියදම් නැති ජාත්‍යන්තර සාතික සමග වසර 30ක් දක්වා වගකීමක් ඇති Swiss Tech Aluminium. ඔබත් කොටේෂන් එකක් අරගෙන බලන්න.
Experience what it means to have true peace of mind with NDB credit cards. NDB credit cards, the advantage in your wallet.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Introducing new Air Action Mentos, the peak of freshness. Mentos, yes to fresh.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
Pain can pause your active life. Get the all-new Woo Pain Relief Spray for fast, long-lasting pain relief.
Love rugby.
Live rugby.
Prima Kotumi. Fun tamai.
අවුව නිසා බොඩි එක කූල් නැත්තම් මයින්ඩ් එකත් කූල් නැහැ. ඒකට තමයි ඩෙටෝල් අයිසි කූල්.
NDB leasing. බාපු ගමන් නැවෙන් ලීසින් එක අපෙන්. ඉලෙක්ට්‍රික්, හයිබ්‍රිඩ්, පෙට්‍රල්, ඩීසල් ඕනම වාහනයකට නොම්බර එකේ ලීසින්. NDB leasing. NDB බැංකු.
Vantage for the modern professional.
නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි. නව රෙක්සෝනා ස්පෝර්ට්ස් ඩිෆෙන්ස් 72 hours order protection සමගින් පිරිමින් සඳහාමයි.
දවසම ෆ්‍රෙෂ් වෙන්න O3 Spirit and Freedom perfumed body spray.